today's episode of The Vampire Priest, we're going to talk about something that's near and dear to my heart, Dragon Ball. Specifically, we're going to dive into Dragon Ball Super regarding two powerful Saiyans who, quite frankly, were nerfed in the series, and who, in my opinion, should have been the stars of the series. They are, of course, Trunks and Goten. As any fan of Dragon Ball Z would admit, Trunks and Goten were being set up to take the reins of the Dragon Ball franchise. While they did not have any meaty developments during Z, they did make a splash when they came across Broly in two separate and non-canon films, Broly, Second Coming, and Bio Broly. It seems as if they were gearing up to take place of their respective fathers, Vegeta and Goku. Dragon Ball GT, while not considered canon by many, but people like me make arguments that it is canon, just at a much later date, as Dragon Ball Super takes place between the Bibbidi Bobbidi Boo saga and the final episodes of Dragon Ball Z. There's room for GT to squeeze into the franchise without missing a beat. But I digress. In GT, we are given Trunks as the lead. For me, I see Trunks as the perfect balance between strength of mind and of body. He has his father's body and his mother's brain, making him the perfect candidate to lead the team into space to find the Black Dragon Balls. Where GT falls short is in having Pan and Goku going with Trunks, when it should have been Goten. Pan was an anomaly that we really didn't have a chance to know, who became center stage in a series that was set up for Trunks and Goten to become the new Vegeta and Goku. However, Goten was left behind and, while carrying his father's innocence, was not that bright. Somehow the two friends were nerfed as characters, as wholes. What made these characters fun and interesting was their sibling bond. Trunks, being a year older, had a protective role for Goten. Meanwhile, Goten seemed to have looked up to Trunks, following him everywhere he went. This dynamic, that I only call brotherly love, took on friendship and rivalry that made them better without them being each other's antagonists. It was different than Vegeta and Goku, who used each other as metrics for improvements, because Trunks and Goten really cared for one another. We see this with how quickly and frequently they fused. We also see this in how they protected each other in the Broly movie, specifically the Second Coming. This was a new twist and dynamic that should have been explored in GT, testing their resolves as friends, as brothers, as Saiyans, and as warriors. But, alas, Dragon Ball was cursed to forever be the Vegeta and Goku show. We see this most evidently in Dragon Ball Super. In the anime, Trunks and Goten were nerfed dramatically by having little to no role in the series. While they have an appearance in the beginning episodes, it's almost as if the writers forgot they existed, ignoring the prodigies and favors for the cash grab heroes. Yes, for the record, I do believe that revisiting the future Trunks timeline was a waste of time, but that's a video for another time. Right now, I want to focus on Trunks and Goten as the heirs of Dragon Ball. I was excited, however, to see them in Dragon Ball Superhero, the movie taking place after Z, based on their ages and the ages of Pan. However, they were nothing more than background characters, instead of being in the thick of battle. They come across as weak, foregoing their Saiyan training in favor of something. I'm not sure what that something was, unfortunately. Contrast that image of Trunks and Goten with the manga, and we quickly realize how Dragon Ball Super, and in particular Dragon Ball Superhero, robbed us of the dream team of Trunks and Goten. Specifically in volumes 21, 22, and 23, the story arc for Superhero. We see Trunks and Goten play a significant role in the Dragon Ball franchise as superheroes. They return as Saiyaman 1, Trunks, and Saiyaman 2, Goten. They're strong, powerful, and keeping up with their training by being superheroes. Heroes who defeat Dr. Hito's other androids before he creates the Gammas and Cell Max. Although I do wonder if Cell Max will become perfect Cell Maximum if he absorbed Gamma 1 and Gamma 2. But that's most likely a debate for another time. In the manga, we get to have entire storylines with Trunks and Goten, and I hope and pray eventually these make it to the small screen, because otherwise these stories are being wasted by not making it to the larger markets through anime. We see them, once again, being set up for something big. While I have only read these 3 volumes, they're enough to make me look for more Dragon Ball Super manga, in the hopes that Trunks and Goten are granted the ranks of Vegeta and Goku and obtaining their own line in the Dragon Ball franchise. If you're like me, and I hope you are, pick up volumes 21, 22, and 23 of Dragon Ball Super. Read them and then re-watch Dragon Ball Super Superhero. You'll have a deeper appreciation for the movie. And if you're a fan of Trunks and Goten, you will love how they're handled in these volumes. That brother love and bond is still there. There's more to explore with these 2 characters than their fathers, and it really shows how much more fun Dragon Ball would be if Trunks and Goten were at the helm. Well,
and the best part of the Goten and Trunks story arc is that we get to see them evolve, to see them grow, to see them to become the men, the warriors, the Saiyans, the humans, and the protector of Earth, as well as the galaxy that they're supposed to be. They really do have a fun and amazing dynamic between the 2. But that's all for today. Please like, share, discuss, and please let me know what you think about Goku or Goten and Trunks in the comments below. Like, share, discuss. If you're like me and you really like these 2 characters, please let us know. And if you don't want them to stand out and just keep them in the background, let me know why as well. You guys have a good, blessed, and holy day. And like Bill and Ted said to each other, stay excellent to one another.